California. And I think we're ready to head inside.
Perfect.
Please drop your questions in the comments. We'll get to as many as we can while we're live.
And then, Gats, we're going to meet up with you very shortly
Yeah, we'll
after
see
our
Gats
sea
in a
lion
minute.
exhibit.
We'll be here.
Awesome. Oh, and as we go into the sea lion exhibit, just so you know, the sea lions don't have the best Wi-Fi connection. They're working on it. They're just now getting used to working an iPhone. So we may lose signal a little bit, and there may be some camera movement as we enter their area. Stay tuned.
All right, guys, come on in this way.
It smells very fishy.
So I'll have you come all the way in here so we can trick or treat with our sea lions, and you can hang out right here for just
Awesome.
a second. All right, Harpo.
We're in the splash zone.
Oh my goodness, Tyler.
Hi. Hi, Harpo.
So this is Harpo.
Hi.
He's going to say hello to you guys as well. Good boy.
Harpo is famous over on our TikTok, which is at Aquarium Pacific. Aaron, can you tell us what he's famous for?
Harpo can tell you what he's famous for.
His beautiful singing voice, of course.
Harpo, you're so talented.
Thank you. He appreciates it. Mwah. He's going to blow you guys a kiss. Beautiful.
Oh
There it
my
is.
gosh.
One more. Mwah.
Oh my
Good
goodness.
boy.
He is
Mwah,
very
mwah, mwah.
handsome.
He's very talented. He actually can sing in one other voice as well. Let's hear it, bud. A little bit spooky, but a little bit beautiful as well.
It totally fits the night at the Scarium.
It absolutely does.
There's also a very spooky fact about sea lions. Aaron, can you tell us about their black teeth?
Yeah, so if you want to come a little bit closer, what you can do is you can actually see that Harpo has some spooky teeth in here. Let's see your spooky teeth, bud.
Wow.
So his teeth are black in color, and that is pretty normal for a sea lion. Good. We work with them very closely every day to make sure that we're checking on their teeth and making sure that our animals are nice and healthy. And black teeth are actually totally fine and healthy for a sea lion. Harpo agrees with me. That actually happens because these guys have bacteria that live in their mouths. And those bacteria are supposed to be there. Harpo is smiling, showing off his beautiful teeth. And those bacteria, over time, will stain his teeth black. So that's very normal. We don't brush it away or anything like that. And it kind of just makes the color a little bit dark and scary. But otherwise, he's very healthy in his mouth there.
Could you tell us how long a sea lion lives for?
Sure. So I said Harpo is 16 years old.
Oh, wow.
These guys can actually live on average to be 15 or 20 in their natural habitat. We've actually seen them live into their late 30s at zoos and aquariums. So they live quite a bit
Wow.
longer. And that is due in part to the fact that most of what we're working with them on is their health care.
Yeah.
So we can do things like look at their big flippers and make sure that their flippers are nice and healthy. Look at their
So
mouths.
healthy.
Good boy. We could even give him eye drops just like this if we ever needed to. And you can see he looks up and he's perfect for those eye
Aw.
drops. Good.
Harpo, did you have a sweet 16 birthday party?
I think that we actually did do a sweet 16 for him. We made him some frozen fish treats. And,
Oh.
we'll freeze fish in like these big cake molds and hang out. And
Amazing.
they tend to enjoy that. So.
Aaron, people always ask what's Harpo's skincare routine because he looks so smooth and silky, but he's
So
actually
smooth.
covered in fur. Can you tell us a little bit about his
Yeah.
fur, and is he soft?
He actually kind of feels like a wet horse or a wet dog. Like he's definitely covered in hair, but the hair is all
Classic
matted
wet
down
horse.
and smooth. Yeah, classic wet horse. Everyone knows what that feels like. And his flippers are actually not covered in any hair or fur at all. So those flippers are nice and bald, good boy, and those help him to be more aerodynamic or hydrodynamic through the water. He has no drag on his flippers because
Wow.
he wants to swim nice and fast. And he'll swim by moving his flippers just like this. And he can move them up and down like a bird. And he can actually reach a speed of up to 20 to 25 miles an hour at very high
Wow.
peaks.
Harpo, you're
Fast
so
boy.
talented.
He's pretty
You're
talented.
so talented.
Aaron, what's the difference between a seal and a sea lion? A lot of people wonder, they think that this is a seal or maybe not sure of the differences. Can you tell us a
Yeah.
little bit about that?
It's very common for people to not know the difference. They are very closely related. Sea lions, however, have these beautiful little Tootsie Roll ears, beautiful little ears here on either side of their head. Perfect little rolled ear flaps. And seals will not have that. Seals will actually have a hole on either side of their head. They do have ears. They can still hear. You just can't see what their ears look like. It just looks like a hole there. And
Amazing.
Perfect. A helicopter is flying over us. biologist Erin from at Aquarium Pacific and the star of the show tonight, which is Harpo and the other animals here at the aquarium.
Everyone wants a hug from the seal. Does he give hugs?
Harpo does not give amazing hugs, but actually, Tyler, if you want to come, you can actually pet him and
would
tell
love
everyone
to.
what he feels like.
Hi, Harpo.
So what I'm going to do is actually have him hold still here, and you can reach out and you can touch his chest there and see how he feels.
Hi. Oh, wow.
Like a wet horse.
It does.
Right?
I've never felt a wet horse, but that's exactly what I would imagine a wet horse to feel like.
It's a pretty good description. And then if you want to, you can also feel his flipper.
Okay.
He'll hold it out while you touch that as well.
Wow.
So you can see that's very rubbery.
Oh,
sort
yeah.
of like an eraser.
Like a wet eraser.
A wet eraser. That's
Yeah.
exactly
I'm
right.
also wondering how they know what signs you show them. Like how long does it take them to learn tricks?
That is a great question. These guys are actually learning and doing different things every single day, every day of their life, every training session we work with them. They're working on new things and practicing some of their old behaviors. And for example, the first thing we'll ever teach them is a very basic behavior called a target. You can see Harpo just rests his little mouth on my fist here. Good. And that helps me to tell him where I might want him to be or want him to go. So, for example, if I want him to come down here, target. He knows to come all the way over and rest his nose right there. Good.
Wow. How long have you been working with Harpo?
I have been working with Harpo for 4 years. We all work with all of our animals here and work on building relationships and trust with these guys. And so I get to know his little quirks. Harpo definitely has a few quirks here. He likes to play with his food, which is pretty normal for him. And so that's a behavior that we sort of work on with him and work through. But yeah, it can actually take a couple weeks to a couple months to learn a new behavior, depending on how complicated it is. Something like a little wave here, very simple, probably wouldn't take all that long. Good. Sometimes training things like his vocalization or that big sound that he makes can take a little bit longer because we have to capture it, wait till he's barking, and then feed him for barking. And then we get something like this.
Good job, Harpo.
Just a reminder that Harpo and the other sea lions in this exhibit are non-releasable animals, and we're so lucky to provide them a home here at our nonprofit aquarium.
Now, Harpo, I know this is an intimate question, but how much does he weigh?
Harpo is a pretty big sea lion. He weighs right around 350 pounds. So he's not a small guy, and he's very long also. He's about 7 feet long. Hello, Harpo. And so Harpo is not a small animal at all, but we do have one larger sea lion named Parker on our exhibit. Parker is actually right now about 600 pounds, and that is not small either. Parker will get up to about 850 pounds at the height of the summer, which is, my goodness, that is big.
Wow.
Harpo won't have quite as much of a size difference depending on the season, but he certainly is not a small guy either.
Yeah.
This is probably his dinner for the night, right? But how much food does Harpo eat on an average day?
Harpo actually gets about 8 kilograms of food, so about 16 pounds of fish each and every day.
16 years old and 16 pounds of fish.
That's his number.
That's a
That's
good
your
deal. It goes
lucky
up every
number.
year. Just kidding.
And what's he eat that again?
He's eating a couple of different kinds of fish. He has capelin, which is sort of a smelt type fish, very high in water content. He's like, once you get a picture of it, I'm going to eat it. Beautiful job. He's also eating squid as well. You guys would recognize the squid. Look at him. He wants it too. He's like, I recognize that squid. And last but not least, he's also eating herring, which is sort of fatty, the meat and potatoes of his diet. And so he's eating 3 different kinds of fish every day. He also gets a multivitamin, and that multivitamin will help make up any nutrients he might be lacking in his diet. So he's got a lot of stuff going on.
So he eats a lot of the same things as Guts the penguin,
That's
right?
exactly right, yeah. Every day I actually come in at 7 in the morning and I look at every single fish that's going to be going into our seal, sea lion diets, and also our penguins. Make sure all the fish are perfect, so no cuts or scrapes or missing eyes or anything like that before it goes into our animals' diets.
Amazing.
So these guys have basically the best seafood, health care, all the things that they really need to live a long and healthy life.
Only the best for you, Harpo.
Absolutely.
So as we've been meeting all of the animals, we've been playing a game called Spooky versus Cute. So I guess one of the spooky things was Harpo's black teeth,
He does
although
have
I
spooky
find them adorable and majestic. One of the cute things I can't help but to notice is I am absolutely lost in his whiskers.
Yeah, they
Why
are
do
cute.
sea lions have whiskers?
Why do they have whiskers? That's a good question. So their whiskers actually help them sense around in sort of dark and murky water. And their whiskers light up the same parts of their brain that our fingertips do in ours. So they're very sensitive. And so each whisker is incredibly sensitive to any sort of vibration in the water or motion in the air. And so he can actually flare out all his whiskers and sort of sense where things are. And so if he was hunting in very dark and murky water, he'd be able to find any fish that was even moving nearby. So that's what
Wow.
their whiskers are for.
Aaron, a lot of people see maybe in cartoons seals and sea lions clapping. Is Harpo able to do that?
He can sort of do a behavior that looks mildly like it, but he actually cannot clap his flippers together. Let's see if he wants to come up and join us.
In the meantime, I want to remind everyone that we are here at the Aquarium of the Pacific in Long Beach, California. And if you are jealous of Tyler and the TikTok for Good team today, you can actually come meet our animals in person, just like we're hanging out with Harpo today. You can meet Harpo or another sea lion, also our penguins, and you can also meet our sharks and rays.
I think that Harpo is being a little bit shy for
Maybe we're a
clapping
little
today.
shy tonight. That's okay.
It's okay. I get shy sometimes too, Harpo.
And that is A-okay. He can definitely blow you guys a kiss, which is the same motion, just with one flipper. You gotta blow a kiss all the way. Beautiful job. Mwah. Mwah.
That is so sweet,
You're so
Harpo.
talented.
Thank you so much.
He is pretty talented.
All right, I think we're ready to head back inside the aquarium and meet some other animals.
right.
Tyler,
Amazing.
are you ready?
Yeah, thank you so much
Harpo's
for
gonna say goodbye.
teaching us, and thank you so much, Harpo. You're the most talented sea lion I've ever met.
Yeah, I agree with that. Amazing. Thank you, Aaron. That was
Amazing.
incredible. All right, we need to go back and meet up with Gats because I think he's ready to trick or treat.
Awesome.
All right, I'm going to follow you guys out. You guys can head on
Perfect.
out. Cool. Just a reminder, we're here at the Aquarium of the Pacific, and we are heading into a dark area, but water and Wi-Fi aren't the best of friends. So if we lose you for a second, make sure you stick around. And we will be right
Well,
with
everybody,
you.
what did you all think about Harpo, the sea lion? He kind of reminds me a lot of my Chihuahua, Penny. They have very similar eyes, very soulful eyes. I'm going to take this iPad. So if you have any questions, now is a great time to drop them in the chat, and I'll go ahead and answer them while we move on to our next exhibit.
Awesome. We're going to head in this way. In the meantime, I want to know where everyone's watching from. Whether you're local here in Long Beach, maybe you're across the world, I don't know.
Yeah.
And I also want to know what you're going to be for Halloween, too, because I need some ideas. Oh, my goodness. Look who has greeted us again. TikTok, we are joined again with Gats, the Magellanic Penguin, and Frankie, an aviculturist here at our Aquarium of the Pacific.
Wow. Gats, you look amazing.
I heard you met some sea lions.
Yeah.
Well, Gats here is ready to trick or treat around the aquarium with you. You want to give him a push?
I would
You ready,
be
Gats?
absolutely honored to push Gats.
The next animal we're looking to see is.
Alrighty, so the next animal that we're going to see is maybe my favorite in the whole aquarium.
cover his
Sorry,
ears.
Gats. Yeah. Pretend that you didn't hear that. So what do we have going on inside Gats' float here? Ice and
It is ice, just in case he overheats. We've got some cooling mechanisms for him
keep you nice and cool.
as we enter the spooky portion of the
Are there any
aquarium.
sea turtles here?
Oh, that's a great question. Are there any sea
We
turtles?
have 3 sea turtles here at the Aquarium of the Pacific. 2 of them live in our tropical Pacific gallery, and 1 of them is a green sea turtle, and 2 of them are olive ridley sea turtles. Our 2 olive ridley sea turtles were actually rescued as eggs, being illegally transported, and now they live here at our aquarium. So we have Lou, Theo, and Copper are our sea turtles here at the Aquarium of the Pacific, here in Long Beach, California. And we're actually open to the public, not this moment. It's very dark in here, I apologize.
spooky.
It's very spooky. It's
Spooky
setting the
even.
vibe 100%.
Skeletons everywhere.
Very, very spooky. So you can come visit us in person. You just need to make a reservation before you do. If you head over to our account at Aquarium Pacific, you can make that reservation.
Amazing.
Tyler, what kind of education do you need to pursue to work with mammals?
Yeah, if you wanted to one day work here with Gats the penguin or some of the other animals at the aquarium, what is the best path for you?
The best thing is to get involved at anywhere that is local to you, easy for you to make a commitment. To just get involved. Maybe it's an animal shelter, maybe it's a zoo or an aquarium, or maybe it's a rescue facility, rescue and rehab. Just getting some experience and knowing if this is the job for you.
Amazing. All right.
We have our first trick-or-treat station over here. Gats the penguin is hanging out with us today here at the Aquarium of the Pacific. And Tyler, aka Ghost Honey, I heard that one of your favorite animals is the jellyfish.
It is.
So here at the Aquarium of the Pacific, we actually don't call them jellyfish, we call them sea jellies. And that's because jellyfish aren't technically fish, they're actually a type of plankton.
And my favorite thing about sea jellies is that they don't have brains, correct? Just radially distributed nervous systems and vibes. And that's
Jealous.
it.
I'm really jealous.
That's
I wish
it.
I was the same.
Same. In my next life, I'm really hoping I'd come back as a sea jelly.
A lot of people ask, actually, so these are Pacific sea nettles, and this would not be fun to touch. Our aquarists here at the Aquarium of the Pacific tell me that these guys kind of feel like a bee sting, which isn't maybe not the worst, but not fun at all. We have sea jellies you can touch outdoors. They're called moon jellies. And a lot of people ask, do they get tangled together? You'll see them kind of swimming together along, our aquarists are actually able to get in there and untangle them with special gloves. So that's just part of the amazing healthcare every animal receives here at the aquarium.
How can we volunteer here?
Yeah, if you're interested in volunteering at the Aquarium of the Pacific, that would be amazing. You can head to our website, aquariumofpacific.org. You can also head over to our account, which is at Aquarium Pacific, and we're located here in Long Beach, California. We are a nonprofit aquarium with a focus on conservation education, and we're also joined with Gats here, who is an incredible ambassador for our education and conservation programs. I don't think we talked about it too much earlier, but a lot of our penguins are actually rescued, and if you head over to our page, you can learn more about that.
Immortal.
So one thing I've heard about sea jellies is that there can be immortal ones. Is this true?
Yes. So there is a jelly called the immortal jelly, which is very rock and roll, very metal sounding, that actually can basically regenerate itself. So it can bring itself back to the baby phase of a jelly and then grow up all over again. So I think I would like to do that. That'd be pretty fun,
Amazing.
right?
So could you compare them, in a sense, to a vampire?
I would say that is very vampire-like.
If we're going to get spooky
I
and
think
compare it
it's-
to
yes.
something Halloween-y.
100%.
Amazing.
Animal in the aquarium?
Ooh, oldest animal in the aquarium.
One of them is right behind you.
Frankie can speak on this.
Yeah, so we have some tufted puffins right behind you, and he is 34 years old. That's a pretty old animal considering our aquarium has only been open for 23 years.
Yeah.
Wow.
And he was a bird he's a puffin, so he's sitting right up here on this ledge, hanging out, giving a little scratch.
Wow.
So that's the old animal that we have here, and I don't know of anyone that's older than him at the moment.
Amazing. He's older than me.
Hey, me too.
Alrighty. I
All
think
right,
we're
so
going
I
to move on
redirected
to
you.
our next exhibit.
I think we're ready to meet the next animal. Are you ready, Gats, to continue our trick-or-treating journey?
And
This animal is a little spookier than the last.
A little.
What do you think?
But also maybe one of the smartest animals here in the aquarium, could you
I
say?
would definitely say they are very smart. And I'm not just talking about Brooke, our aquarist here at the Aquarium of the Pacific.
Hi, guys.
Brooke, who are you going to introduce to Tyler today?
So I'm going to be introducing Groot. Groot is our giant Pacific octopus. He's sleeping right now, so that's why he's got that flushed white color, and that's his favorite spot in the tank to take a nap.
Wow. How old is Groot?
So we estimate Groot to be between 2 and 3 years old based on his weights and measurements, and he actually just topped off at 27.5 pounds.
Wow.
Groot actually arrived at our aquarium last year, and he was just over 2 pounds. There's a video about it over on at Aquarium Pacific. And so that's crazy. He's so much bigger all year later. That's
He was
amazing.
just a little jelly bean when you got
Just a little
him.
jelly bean octopus. Yes, so
Oh,
sweet.
Groot. It's so nice to meet you again. We got to meet briefly last week, and it was one of the best experiences of my life.
And guess what? You're going to go back there and meet him again today, live on TikTok for the TikTok for Good account. We're so
I'm
excited. Are
We
you
don't
ready
just
to
have
do
to have
it?
a Romeo and Juliet moment between the glass. We can meet IRL in person. I'm
Gats
so
is
ready.
going to hang out here while we hang out with Groot, the giant Pacific octopus. But don't worry, he's in good hands out there. And Brooke is going to take you behind the scenes.
Amazing.
Have fun, TikTok.
Yeah, so as we get ready to go into the octopus exhibit, just so you know, we're going to have to climb some stairs.
Yes.
We're going to have to maneuver to get into the right position, so there may be some camera motion. So, yeah. But it's all going to be worth it when you see how amazing Groot is up close.
Agreed.
Yeah.
So this is actually our touch pool. It's called Coastal Corner. We've got lots of beautiful stars, anemones, urchins, you name it.
So they were just telling me, similar to how there's sea jellies and not jellyfish, instead of starfish, do they have another name?
Well,
just
each of them
stars?
have different names. So we've got ochre stars, bat stars, all sorts of different types of stars.
Amazing. Patrick stars even, probably. Do you like my Phoebe Bridgers cosplay?
Please just watch your step. I don't want anyone to fall.
The room? Very professional. This is the only octopus room I've ever seen, but it looks great. Oh yeah, I'll slide over here. Alrighty. So we are about to see if you are just now joining us. Hi there, my name is Tyler. I also go by Ghost Honey on TikTok. We are here with the Aquarium of the Pacific. for a night at the Scarium, and we are about to meet Groot, the octopus. So, if you've ever wanted to see an octopus, you came here just at the right time.
So what we normally do to start a play session or an interaction is we'll go ahead and start with Splash Time. Splash Time is one of his favorite games, and it's also a really great way for to let him know we're coming and to let him know that if he would like to interact, he can come over. Everything is done based on him, his mood, and what he likes. So we usually give him between like 3 and 5 minutes to decide. They're very thoughtful beings.
But he really loves to have, like, hands-on time.
Yes,
right?
he loves his playtime. He loves his splash time. We have some food up here as well. However, a lot of times with him, he's so motivated by play that he actually won't eat. And he'll end up dropping the food and being like, oh, I can have that later.
Yeah.
Right now, I want to play.
I'll save that for later. Oh, yeah. How old is Groot again?
So Groot, we estimate him to be between 2 and 3 years old. And he's at 27.5 pounds and growing. So we think he'll top off somewhere around 50 pounds, give or take. So he's a big boy, and he's only going to get bigger.
Wow.
And as you can see with that bright red color and all the way he's moving, he's going to be coming over here probably in a minute. Some really cool things about Groot and octopus in general is that they actually, their eyes are very similar to ours in a lot of ways. So they can tell their keepers apart.
Wow. They have facial recognition,
They have
right?
facial recognition. They can tell their keepers apart, and they do have favorites,
Wow.
which is really fun as a keeper. Because we all get to compete for, you know, who we might like the best.
Amazing.
Hi, buddy.
Oh, how many can be in the tank? Just one, right?
Yes, so they are solitary animals. As much as we'd love to give him a friend, he wouldn't be very friendly to that friend.
Gotcha.
The only time they actually come together is for mating, and that's at the end of their life.
Yeah, how do they, or why do they change color?
So the octopus is covered in cells called chromatophores, and those are connected to nerve endings, which his brain tells his body what colors to change, when to change color, and also what texture to be. You can see right now he's going from kind of a smooth color to more rough.
Wow.
And let him know we're here, he might come down.
And one thing you told me last time is that they can taste through their suction cups. Is that right?
Yes, each suction cup can individually taste and smell. And so he knows how I smell, and if you want to reach your hand in, he'll know how you smell as well. There you go, bud.
Hi.
And here we go.
Hi,
Usually just takes a few minutes to decide that he likes to come over.
Hi.
So this is Groot. He's got 8 arms, and each arm has over 200 suction cups for a total of 2,000 plus.
Wow, he's got a strong hold on me. You're very strong, Groot. How long do they live?
So they typically live between 3 and 5 years. Based on our estimates with his age and our weight, we believe he's going to end up being closer to the 5-year mark.
Okay.
Just because he's continuing to grow, even though he's right around 2 and 3.
Groot, do you remember me? I hope so. I hope you like how I taste. I just touched some fish.
Well, if you'd like, you can reach back behind you. And there's a little thing up top to the right.
Oh.
There you go. That's full of some fish. You can pop that open if you'd like. You can give him a shrimp.
So right here we have some shrimp, and we have, what else do we have? Clams?
We've got some mussels, some live clams as well, and some mahi-mahi, which isn't a normal item he would eat, but it is a nice little treat.
What's the best way to feed Groot a shrimp?
So I like to hand it to the end of his sucker so you can kind of see him smell it and then grab onto it. Now what you guys are going to be seeing a lot of is this. That's me peeling him off. It's not in any way hurting Groot, nor is it hurting me. The octopus can actually I like to hand it to the end of his sucking. A lot of is this. That's me peeling him off. So
Wow.
for Groot, this is like a game. It's a fun tug-of-war type of game, as you can see.
Oh, yes.
And
So what
that's
was
his
that you just
siphon.
did?
Yes. So that's his siphon. It's really incredible. It's actually what he uses to propel himself through the water. So
Wow.
he'll fill his mantle. If I can get you a better look, you do that. So he'll fill his mantle, which is this large head. He'll fill it full of water, and then he'll propel it out of his siphon, use his siphon to guide himself through the water.
Amazing. That's one of the most unusual things I've ever felt. I don't really know how to describe it other than similar to like a suction cup you would put on your window.
Yes, exactly. Madeline has this really great description where she says he feels like a wet gummy bear.
Oh, one person wants to ask, does Groot bite?
So Groot can bite. And I can kind of show you guys if I can get an arm here where his mouth would be. Like I said, just a reminder to viewers, this is not harmful to Groot at all. This is a game. He can choose when he wants to hang on and when he chooses to let go. So his mouth would actually be, if I can get my arm through, there we go, right there in the center.
Wow.
So it'd be right in the middle of all his arms. And what's really cool about his mouth is he doesn't have any teeth at all. He has a bird-like beak. And that beak has a neurotoxin in it, which kind of spooky Halloween-like.
Very
Actually
spooky.
paralyzes his prey. And it breaks down the tissue so he can basically slurp up his meals.
Wow.
And as you can see, he likes a really rowdy playtime.
And then where is Groot from again?
So Groot is actually wild caught. Most octopus are in captivity as they are extremely hard to breed. There we go.
And then how long have you had Groot again?
So we've had Groot between 2 and 3 years. And Tyler, you're welcome to touch him as well. You can play with the smaller tentacles.
Yeah.
They're not quite as scary.
I feel like Groot is probably stronger than me, truthfully.
It is definitely you gain a sense of how to handle an octopus in this position.
How long have you been working with Groot?
So I've been working with Groot. I've actually only been at the aquarium for 4 months now. So me and Groot are at the beginning of our relationship, but I think he likes me and
You
I
seem
like
very
him a
close.
lot. Yes, we're very bonded. They're so smart. You end up getting really close. And as you guys can see, Tyler tried to offer him some shrimp earlier, and he wouldn't take it because he's so motivated by play that he doesn't want his eating time to compromise his playtime.
So one thing the audience is asking is what type of teeth does Groot have? But he doesn't have teeth. He has a bird-like
No
beak,
teeth. It's
right?
a bird-like
Just in the
beak,
center.
right in the center. You can't really see it. He's hiding it pretty. Groot is a solitary animal. If we gave him a friend, he would try to eat his friend. So instead, Groot has tank mates like anemones, this nice piece of kelp, things that he can't eat.
And then kind of
Yes.
this playtime as well.
Yes, his keepers are his tank mates.
Oh, the audience wants to know, does that hurt?
No, so it doesn't hurt me at all. Like I said, it doesn't hurt Groot. He can choose when to hang on and when to let go. This is a really fun playtime for him. It's a workout for me. And sometimes he does leave little, we call them octopus kisses. So you might see a few on my arms.
A little hickey.
Little hickeys, octopus kisses, stuff like that. And he mostly leaves behind a lot of slime, so that's pretty standard.
Does Groot like to play with any toys?
Yes, so octopus are really smart, and we want to make sure that we're keeping them stimulated and engaged in captivity. So all of his feeds are given to him through feeder puzzles and toys and all sorts of stuff like that. That way we're encouraging him to engage in natural foraging behaviors and keeping him stimulated and happy here.
That's amazing. Is there like another animal you could compare their intelligence to?
I've heard that their intelligence is that of like a 3-year-old. So a human animal, I suppose.
Wow.
So a 3-year-old would be the best I've heard. I'm not sure about other animals though. I'm pretty knowledgeable about this guy, but I'm not sure what level he'd be at.
And then you said Groot sometimes leaves behind a little slime.
Yes.
So they're kind of slimy.
He's a little slimy, especially when they shed their suction cups. It's a sign of them growing. They'll leave behind a little more of kind of an icky, ooey kind of feeling.
Wow.
But playtime like this, where he's really excited and rowdy and just like having a ball, I'll have hickeys for a week. Sometimes he's really soft and gentle, and he doesn't leave any at all. Today is not a gentle Groot day. Today is a Groot wants to wrestle and play tug-of-war day.
He's like, I've got energy and I'm ready to burn it.
Yep.
How long are those tentacles? One question was, how long is his wingspan, if that's
His
tentacle
wingspan?
span, I guess you could say.
His wingspan, he can pretty easily reach from like end to end if he really wants to of this exhibit. So I'd say it's at least a good like 6-7 feet.
Wow.
We haven't measured it exactly. We measure him for weight to monitor his growth, not so much length. That would be incredibly difficult to try to get him to open his arms for us. There we go. And another game you guys can see that he likes when he opens up like this is splash time. It's how we start our play times, but also
Can I give him a little
oh
splash?
yeah, please. Help yourself. You're welcome to jump in. But he loves his splash time. You can see each individual sucker react to it. And it's another tactile stimulus type of play, just like roughhousing is.
So does Groot get sad if he doesn't get playtime?
He is very needy, so
Yeah.
yes, if I didn't come up here and play with him, he would be sad. But
Oh.
fortunately, we have a really big staff that all love playing with him, so he's not short of any attention.
Oh, good. And then, okay.
I'm wondering if Groot has any hollow limbs
Oh.
He absolutely does. If Tyler wants to look down to his right,
Well, look what we have right here.
flip it around. We've carved a little pumpkin. Other flip. There you go.
There's the face.
So if you want to take that little thing of treats that I set up, you can fill the pumpkin with it, and we can give it to Groot.
Sleep? What's their sleeping schedule like?
Yes. So Groot. Typically, every octopus is different. That's the cool part about them. They have really different personalities. So he tends to have more restful days and more active days. So after an activity like this, he'll probably sleep most of the day
You
tomorrow.
have to tucker him out.
Yes. Just like a child, you have to tucker them out a bit.
Should I fill it all the way up?
Yeah, all the way. You can add everything in there. And we can hand it to him. Like I said, Groot is very play motivated, so he may not take it, but we can always offer it for him.
If not, I just want you to know that I love you and this is for later.
And he will enjoy it later. He usually waits till we leave and he knows playtime's over to then go, okay, I guess I'll eat now.
Amazing. Well, Groot, it's honestly hypnotic to watch how they move in the water. I could stay here and watch you all night long. But I think we have one final animal to visit here in the Aquarium of the Pacific.
So you're free to hand it to any of his tentacles. They can all taste and smell, and he will see that there is something different in the exhibit, and he might let me go for the first time tonight.
He's like, oh, you have food? Wow.
There you go, buddy.
Alrighty. I think we're going to move on. Thank you so much for introducing us to Groot. This has been... That's one of the coolest things I've honestly ever seen in my life.
Of course.
The way they just swallow that pumpkin whole.
He's so amazing. I love showing him to people.
Yeah, this was so cool. Alrighty, everybody, we're going to work our way down from this octopus exhibit, so there may be for your patience here at the Aquarium of the Pacific.
How was it?
That was surreal.
Are you covered in octopus kisses?
I'm covered in octopus kisses and shrimp and fish, but it's honestly a blessing.
That's all of Groot's favorite things.
Yeah.
That's amazing. Okay, I think we're ready to head back over and meet up with Gats again.
Amazing.
And I'm really excited. So I don't know, a lot of people think octopuses are spooky, but this animal is the scariest and most dangerous animal we have here at the Aquarium of the Pacific.
So I hope you're feeling brave.
Are you
'cause
feeling
it's
brave,
about to get
TikTok?
spooky.
Just a reminder, we're here at the Aquarium of the Pacific. Tyler just met Groot, the giant Pacific octopus. And we're going to meet up with Gats the penguin again to go say hi and maybe finish up our tour of trick-or-treating. Very cool. Follow
So
me
as
this
we
way.
move on, again, let us know if you have any questions about the animals we've seen today or any questions about the aquarium. We would love to answer them for you. They would love to answer them for you.
The octopuses do ink. They ink out of their siphon. I don't know if you got a chance to talk about that too much. But here at the aquarium, we've never seen our octopus ink because that would mean it's in a very stressful situation. It's trying to get away from a predator or trying to disguise itself. But you saw how much Groot loves Brooke and just loves the attention that she gives her. So it's really something we don't ever see here at the aquarium.
So that's
Great
a good
question.
thing.
It's definitely a good thing. Okay, as we walk over here, we're going to be careful about this part right here. And we're going to meet up with Gats the penguin again.
Hi, Gats.
And Gats is going to talk to us, well, a little bit about the the most dangerous animal we have here at the aquarium. Does anyone know what that would be?
If anybody wants to take a guess, what's the scariest animal you could think of? Gats?
Scats.
Oh, bless you. Good thing Gats is brave. One of the bravest penguins I've ever met, honestly.
Well, Erin is here to tell us a little bit about the scariest animal we have here at the aquarium.
Dun,
Did you guys
dun,
get it right? There's an
dun.
emoji
Caution
in.
it off.
There is an emoji of the animal that we're going to meet next. Should we give them a sneak peek?
Sure.
It's located right here. Can you see that TikTok? Very spooky, very
The
scary.
scariest animal here. They have to caution it off.
Let's look at the scariest animal we have here at the aquarium. Erin, what is the scariest animal we have here at the aquarium of the Pacific?
Well, the scariest animal, sorry, we've got one right here being as scary as possible, are our sea otters. So we actually have 3 sea otters here at the Aquarium of the Pacific, and they are all currently playing with some enrichment.
Wow.
We have Chloe right there. She's playing with one of her toys and eating some food. And the reason that sea otters are the scariest animals here at the aquarium is they've got some very strong teeth and jaws on them.
Wow. So again, how many do you have?
Gats is kind of famous for going on field trips around the aquarium while we are closed to the public during quarantine. And I think this is Gats' favorite exhibit to visit. I think he really likes the otters. What do you think, Erin?
Gats, do you
I
like
think
the
you might
otters?
like the fish, but I think
Maybe
he
it's
likes
the
the otters.
And you'll notice that all of our otters look really similar. Erin, can you tell us a little bit about the otters here at the Aquarium of the Pacific?
Sure. So we have 3. The one closest to us is Chloe. Chloe is one of our younger otters. I guess now she's almost 9 years old. Where does the time go? These guys typically live about 15 to 20 years. But we do see them live a little bit longer. The oldest otter to have ever lived, southern sea otter, was 22 years old.
Wow.
We have Betty also was the one that was next to Chloe. And last but not least, we have Millie. Betty is 1 year older than Chloe, and Millie is actually 6 years old, and she's on the far side. She's hogging a couple of the toys that she has here.
So what is it that sea otters eat?
These guys eat a variety of different, we say benthic invertebrates, which is a very fancy way of saying that they eat slow-moving things that live on the seafloor
Gotcha.
and don't have a backbone. So they'll eat things like clam, shrimp, squid, a lot of the things that you saw Groot eating as well. And one of their favorites is actually sea urchin. So sea urchins are not a super easy food type for a lot of animals to get into, but sea otters are very specially created, evolved to eat sea urchins. So they'll peel off all the spines of the urchin. They'll actually eat all of the meat out of the middle of it.
Wow.
And that makes sea otters a really important species as well. So these guys control sea urchin populations, and urchins can actually destroy entire kelp forest habitats. So sea otters are what we call a keystone species, which means they're one of the most important animals we have out there in the ocean.
Wow. Alrighty.
And sea otters are technically our most dangerous animal here at the Aquarium of the Pacific. A lot of people think it's sharks, but sharks are very, very misunderstood, and they kind of have a bad reputation. Can you tell us a little bit about why sea otters are considered so dangerous? I know that when we go into the exhibit, we have to be behind a baffle board sometimes.
That's true. These guys can be a little bit unpredictable, and they definitely like to explore different things, play with different things. You can see Chloe's actually holding up a toy, being as cute as possible
They
as
look
I
so
talk
innocent.
about how dangerous they are. Yeah, dangerously cute is a perfect way to describe a sea otter. But these guys are, they just basically can be unpredictable. They're most closely related to weasels and badgers and other animals. Relationship and make sure that we understand sort of where their threshold is when we're working with them, because
Amazing.
Can sea otters breathe underwater?
ooh, that's a good question. They actually can't. These guys are mammals, just like you and me, and so when they are breathing air, they will hold their breath underwater, and they can hold their breath for just a few minutes.
That's great. Just a heads up to TikTok, our otters here at the Aquarium of the Pacific are non-releasable rescues. And Erin, are sea otters endangered?
Southern sea otters are considered an endangered species, and so we want to do our best to make sure that we are taking care of sea otters. These guys are rescued animals that actually came through a program that determined that they were non-releasable, and so they're now here as ambassadors for their species. We want to take care of sea otters, and the best way that you can do that, because they're dangerously cute, is actually to stay away from them. These guys, as an endangered species, are protected. You have to stay at least, I think it's 100, if not 300 yards away if you see them in their natural habitat.
Wow.
It might be 100, but just say 300 away.
Yeah,
just-
basically.
Yeah, just to be safe. Better safe than sorry.
Yeah,
One question is, how fast can otters swim, and are they faster than sharks?
They are actually relatively slow swimmers for a marine
Really?
mammal. Yeah, so they are not going after fast-moving prey. These guys don't eat fish, which is why the fish in our habitat are safe from our sea otters. We got a nice close-up of Betty there. And these guys can only swim maybe 7 to 10 miles an hour, which is not very fast. Certainly faster than I can swim, that's for sure.
Same.
But the things that they
Big
are
same.
eating don't really move very quickly. And
makes
they
sense.
don't want to exert all of that energy swimming quickly after prey items. So they'll eat things that sort of live on the seafloor and don't move, because that's easier.
Is it true that they hold hands when they sleep?
It certainly can be true.
Is that the cutest thing maybe about sea otters?
Is that baby sea otters actually can't swim, and so moms will groom their pup and blow bubbles into their fur so that they're so buoyant they actually can't dive down or sink. So they basically make a tiny otter pup balloon and leave it up at the surface, and they'll tie it in kelp so that they actually don't lose it.
Wow.
And mom will go forage and dive and get food and bring it back up, and the baby will just be floating at the top because
That's
he's full of
amazing.
bubbles.
Land too? People are asking if they can walk on land.
Yeah, they mostly are totally fine and comfortable staying in the water for their entire lives, but when they are offered like a nice land space, a lot of times they will come up. So we put some ice on top. Once they're done eating, I'm sure they're going to haul out and sort of all lie on the land area. They really like the ice. They have very, very thick and dense fur coats, and so it can actually get a little bit warm for them to be out of the water for a long time. So the ice helps to cool them down, and they also seem to like eating it, so we give it to them as enrichment.
Which one is Chloe?
Chloe is the one that was just closest to us. So that's Betty at the surface. Chloe's diving here, and then Millie is on the far side of the exhibit.
How much do they weigh?
These guys are pretty heavy, bigger than you think they are. They're right around 40 pounds. So male southern sea otters can get up to 50 to 60 pounds. Females average around 40. Millie's a little on the bigger side. She's 45-ish pounds right now.
That's amazing. Erin, thank you so much for talking to us about
Yeah,
sea
thank
otters
you.
today. Tyler, thank you so much for trick-or-treating at the Aquarium of the Pacific with Gats the Penguin.
Of
We had
course.
so much fun.
Gats,
if you
thank
want to see
you.
more animal content, we are at Aquarium Pacific, and you can come visit us in person here in Long Beach, California. We are a nonprofit aquarium with a focus on conservation education, and it was so much fun hanging out with you today, Tyler, and TikTok for Good.
Yeah, it was so much fun. Thank you so much for having me. Thank you so much, Gats. You were truly the star of the night. You're looking a little sleepy there, buddy. It's getting close to Gats' bedtime, maybe. Alrighty, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us. A huge thank you again to TikTok for Good and the Aquarium of the Pacific. This was amazing, getting to work with all of these animals. This has been a dream come true, and thank you so much for joining us this evening. I hope you learned something new. I hope you get a chance to come visit the aquarium, and I hope you all have a very spooky and safe Halloween. Thank you, everybody.